This outline will provide you with a review for Chapter 1. In Section 1.1, we review domain, range, linear functions, increasing and decreasing. But perhaps the most important item in Chapter 1 was proportionality. Proportionality means that we are talking about y is equal to k to the x. This is a direct proportion. In this equation, perhaps the most important item is the k value. That's what we want to pay attention to when we are looking at constants of proportionality. So please remember about the constant of proportionality k. It will come up in many of our later lessons. As we move on to Section 1.2, we know that a and e to the kt really are two different constant values for the same thing. We also talked about concave up and concave down, and connecting those two items was the point of inflection. So that should be included in your notes for concave up and concave down. Half-life and doubling time, again, elements of growth and decay. Section 3 was about translations, transformations, composite functions, and even and odd, and inverses. Again, perhaps the most important item in here is even and odd. That will come up very frequently, and inverses. In Section 1.4, we talked about common logs and natural logs. When b in the base here is equal to e, the log actually becomes the natural log. So this item right here is the same as this. ln of x is the same as the log of x to the base e. An important feature of logarithms is a change of base property, the log of 9 to the base 3. To do this on the calculator, you can do the ln of 9 over the ln of 3, or the log of 9 over the log of 3. Moving on into Section 1.5, we have the formula that is the formula for arc length. You have your basic identities: reciprocal, ratio, Pythagorean, odd, even, cofunction, sum and difference, and double angle. Values of your special angles, which you will know from your unit circle. So again, another important item to make sure you always have in your arsenal of common knowledge. Graphs, your amplitude, your period, and transition, and please don't forget about your inverse trigonometric functions. These you might want to practice. They will become very important and are often the things that are overlooked. In Section 1.6, power functions. Again, most of this is not something that you really need to be aware of, because you have your graphing calculator, which will take care of most of your questions related to this will have to do with your graphing calculator and with your rational functions. So again, vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, holes, and end behavior. Again, a good item to look up and remember, end behavior of a function. In 1.7, we spent a lot of time talking about continuity, mostly about graphic continuity. We did a little bit of algebraic continuity, not too much of numeric. And then finally, the IVT, intermediate value theorem, one application of continuity. Finally, we finished up the chapter talking about limits, graphically, algebraically, one-sided limits, and most important of all, and if we could highlight that little item, most important of all is, here's our little highlighter for definition of continuity. Certainly something that we want to be very aware of.